What's up guys, I'm Bob Tompkins with the Living in SC team at Real Broker, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Lake Keowee and Lake Hartwell, what makes them unique, what makes them different, and why should you consider moving to either one of these lakes. Now, if you're thinking about making a move to South Carolina, don't forget to shoot us an email below at info@livinginsc.com or give us a call at the number listed below, as we would love to connect with you and help you with your move to South Carolina. But without waiting around any longer, let's get right in to the meat and potatoes of this video. So a lot of times we have people moving to South Carolina and they want to be able to have access to the upstate and the mountains, but they also want to be able to have access to water. So a lot of times we get the question of like, hey, which lake in the upstate is the best lake for us to look at? Now, there are three prominent lakes located in the northwest corner of South Carolina, but for the purposes of this video, we are just gonna focus on Lake Hartwell and Lake Keowee, as Lake Jocassee does not really have many residential lots to offer to the public. So let's dive right into comparing Lake Hartwell to Lake Keowee. First and foremost, I wanna talk about the general location of each one of these lakes. Now, Lake Hartwell is located further south. It's in more of a flat area, while Lake Keowee is nestled right up into the foothills as you're going up into the mountains and is a little bit further north. That being said, Lake Hartwell does provide a little bit better access to several different communities in South Carolina and even Georgia, as you can easily access Anderson, South Carolina, Hartwell, Georgia, and even Clemson from Lake Hartwell. Now, that being said, Lake Hartwell is one of the largest recreational lakes in South Carolina. In fact, Lake Hartwell takes up over 56,000 acres and has over 930 miles of shoreline. So as I say, Lake Hartwell has good access to those three different communities. There are plenty of places on the lake where you would be very isolated for much at all. However, you do have the ability to live pretty close to town in a lot of different areas on Lake Hartwell. Opposed to that, Lake Keowee really only offers good access to Clemson and Seneca on the southernmost part of Lake Keowee. As you get further up north around Lake Keowee, you do get a little more isolated from those communities or towns, but you are able to find some strong communities within neighborhoods and subdivisions like Keowee Key, which can be a good pro of being up into those more exclusive areas. So what does boating life look like on each of the lakes? Well, both of them offer great boating and recreational opportunities, but those opportunities do look a little different. While both Lake Hartwell and Lake Keowee do both provide really good opportunities to fish, Lake Hartwell is actually really well known and almost renowned for its bass fishing. In fact, there are plenty of bass tournaments that actually come to Lake Hartwell. In fact, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Bassmaster has actually hosted some pretty big tournaments on Lake Hartwell. So if you're a big fisherman, if you love going after some largemouth bass, then Lake Hartwell really could be the one for you. That being said, Lake Hartwell does tend to be a little bit busier, but as I mentioned before, it is expansive. Being that it's over 56,000 acres, there is plenty of room for tons of people to go and play. Why is Lake Hartwell so busy, you may ask? Well, Lake Hartwell actually has over 50 public access points to get your boat into the water. So there's plenty of opportunity for people who maybe don't even live on the water or have their boat stored at a marina to be able to get in and access the water. Also, with the proximity to different towns, it is not like it's a big trek up to the lake in order to get into the water. People can normally travel just a short distance with their boat before they get right on in. Lake Keowee, on the other hand, recreationally does have a lot less activity, and that's because they have a lot less public access points into the lake, and the lake is much smaller. Lake Keowee only covers about 18,000 acres, which leaves less room for recreational activity. Plus, with it being a little bit more of an exclusive lake and there being higher end properties up there, not as many people make the trek up to Keowee to get out on the water, but it is beautiful and a great place to go tubing, fishing, and all of your different recreational activities. Well, what about recreation that's not actually on the water? Well, Lake Hartwell is known for having plenty of campsites in different state parks in and around the lake. And there's a ton of different opportunities on Lake Hartwell to go and explore and have those fun activities. What about Lake Keowee? Well, I actually have a pretty strong bias in Lake Keowee's favor because of its proximity to some of your state parks that are in and around the mountains. For example, Keowee-Toxaway State Park, as well as Table Rock State Park, are some of the best places to go and hike and explore and hang out outdoors. And if you're living on or around Lake Keowee, you're gonna have great access to both of those, as well as some other great trails, while Lake Hartwell, being situated more in the flatland, is gonna be more difficult to access those state parks if you're living on Lake Hartwell. So what does the cost of living look like between these two? Well, Lake Keowee is much more exclusive, as there's only about 300 miles of shoreline, plus you're kind of up into the mountains. It does have a very unique feel, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Because of that, we see a lot of home prices in and around the lake that range from north of $500,000 all the way up into your $2 and $3 million properties. So Lake Keowee does end up being one of those places where some of your more high earning professionals or your retirees end up gravitating towards, simply because the price point dictates that. Now, Lake Hartwell tends to have an entry level that is much lower. In fact, there are some homes that you can even get in or around the lake at like the $300,000 to $400,000 mark. Stuff on the water seems to normally run between $500,000 and $700,000, but of course you can go as expensive as you want to on either one of these lakes. So on Lake Hartwell, you know, if you want to have your own cove or your own point, you know, you're gonna spend the money for that. So there are properties on Lake Hartwell that do run up into the 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s millions, but it just depends on what you want, as it is a lot more affordable to try and find that type of property on Lake Hartwell. At the end of the day, both of these lakes offer a ton to the recreationalist, the fisherman, whoever you are and whatever you want to use the lake for. But they do offer a little bit different of an experience based on the size of the lake, the amount of access to the lake, and of course the price point that exists on both of these lakes. Once again, if you're thinking about making a move to South Carolina, and if you'd like to move to either Lake Hartwell or Lake Keowee, don't be afraid to shoot us an email at info@livinginsc.com or give us a call at the number listed below. We would love to connect you, love to be able to help you. And if you've enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button and check out some of our other videos. And we look forward to seeing you next time on Living in South Carolina.